Hello everybody, this is Mike. Today I've got another Italian video to make. I've been scripting this one for months. I have not been to Italy, but when it comes to Italian culture, there's more for me to talk about it than our language itself. An important part of the topic is Italian food. Because all around the world, everyone is interpreting it in many different ways, especially in America. Then they start to think that they're really familiar with Italian food. So before any of you start dropping down comments about your beloved chicken parm, garlic bread, or fettuccine alfredo, anything from places like Olive Garden, whatever your favorite local Italian restaurant is, I'm gonna be going over a whole bunch of foods you might have thought were Italian, but really aren't, and why that's the case. However, different regions eat differently, so there may be some exceptions. Spaghetti and meatballs. Lady and the Tramp, anyone? Many people will tell you that no, spaghetti meatballs don't exist in Italy, because in general, pasta and meat are separate courses, the primo and secondo, respectively. However, in a way, they do exist in areas, and admittedly, I like them too. That's not to say you should cook them to impress a native Italian, but still tasty. Spaghetti bolognese. You won't find this in Bologna. That's because it's traditionally made with tagliatelle, or you could use other flat pastas, anything that will hold up to the sauce. You see, one pasta shape does not fit all sauces. Penne, ziti, spaghetti, ravioli, etc. They're all different. Also, the dish is actually called tagliatelle al ragù. Drop this dish the way you know it and find a true, authentic recipe. Baked ziti and chicken marsala. These are more of American traditions. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Fettuccine Alfredo. Hold on there. Technically, this dish is Italian. It was indeed prepared by a restaurant owner named Alfredo all the way back in the 20th century in Rome. His wife was pregnant, and to settle her stomach, he would prepare pasta with butter and some parmesan. He served it as a cheap dish at his restaurant. American tourists loved it, and Fettuccine Alfredo was born. It took off in America, but disappeared from Italy. As far as I know, the original restaurant in Rome is still in existence, but only Americans will be seen there. In fact, if you bring up this dish in a conversation with an Italian, they most likely will ask you who Alfredo is. There's nothing like it in Italy except for pasta al burro, or pasta with butter. And there's nothing fancy about it. Well, how do I put it? Can you imagine going to a restaurant feasting on saltines and ginger ale? This is basically the Italian equivalent to that. Only eat it if you're sick. Then there's shrimp Alfredo, chicken Alfredo. And that's a foreign concept even to me, so don't even go there. I highly doubt Alfredo himself would ever have tried those. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't even think this is a dish popular with New York Italians. I'm from Pennsylvania, so I'm not sure. Pasta with chicken. It's unsurprising that Americans regard the combination of chicken and pasta as typically Italian. Take a look at the Daily Mail article, Worst Italian Food Faux Pas Revealed. As it says, we gotta tell you, no one in Italy would serve such a dish. Pasta's one thing, chicken's another. Let me put it bluntly. They don't mix. Remember, separate courses. Chicken Parmigiana. Let's break it down. A chicken cutlet. Tomato sauce and melted cheese on top. Often served with a side of, or worse, on top of pasta. We do eat chicken and veal cutlets, but not like that. The problem is that we don't eat meat smothered in cheese. Garlic bread. Most of the time this is totally unhealthy for Italian standards due to the use of butter as opposed to olive oil, so no one in Italy would cook that. Another thing is the whole garlic misconception, which experts might defend, but it pisses me off. We do use it, but it's not a huge ingredient to throw in lethal amounts of. We Don't use it in every single dish, and certainly not like this. Very few authentic dishes I know of use a lot of it. This isn't one of them. Another thing, don't add cheese to everything. Many people have a habit of dumping grated cheese over everything, no matter what it is, especially before they've even tasted their dish. If that's you, you've never had authentic Italian food. Cheese is only to balance and slightly enhance dishes. Even then, there's a time and place for it. Seafood is not one of them. Number 68 on how to get the mafia on your ass. The combination of seafood and cheese. Not something I could ever imagine. As for Italian restaurants in other countries, if you see any seafood dishes with cheese, cream, or heavy amounts of dairy in them on the menu, I wouldn't go there. This is funny. Penne alla vodka. Even Italians might say that this dish was invented in Italy. This is what happened. A Russian chef at an Italian restaurant came into work wasted one night, bottle of vodka in his hand. He had just enough to pour into the pasta sauce, and like Fettuccine Alfredo, Americans loved it. There are so many things wrong with this dish. One, the cream, because we actually don't use it a lot. But that's just the least of the problems. Vodka? Really? If anything, the name of this dish is just utter nonsense. Don't serve it to an Italian. It's another thing to add to your list, Vincenzo's plate. And if you see it anywhere on a self-proclaimed Italian restaurant menu, get the f*** out of there and run like hell. If that wasn't bad enough, ketchup on pasta. That would be number 267. Seriously, they will kill you if you do that. You might say, it doesn't matter if these dishes are authentic or not as long as they taste good, and that's understandable, but think twice before you prepare any of them for a native Italian, and steer clear of them when looking for a fine Italian dining experience. However, these aren't all the ways to spot a fake Italian restaurant, which I might make a video about in the future. You know what, for starters, don't trust chains. But tell me, what were your favorites of these dishes before you watched this video? Were you surprised at all? Were you not? What do you think of this topic, especially if you do have extensive knowledge of it? The thing is, it's important to know what Italian food truly is, to appreciate that. Sure, a lot of new dishes and different interpretations are being invented probably every day, but many of us, especially the older people, prefer to keep the cuisine traditional, original, and authentic.